Good evening to all the loyal members of the Descendants and Zombies universe. Of course, my name is Jonathan Clarke, and I am once again honored to be in your presence this evening to discuss all things related to Descendants and Zombies. If you are somebody who are new to these conversations, hi. It is once again my honor to join you this evening, and I hope you love these videos as much as many millions of other people do and have over the years, because I've been here for a really long time, longer than many, for over 27 years. And still after 27 years have come and gone, I am still researching what one must accomplish to become a Disney hero. And at least according to this Disney Hero Handbook, which is unofficial, mind you, but at least according to it that I have in front of me, one must either be born into royalty or perform his own act of heroism to be considered a hero. Have I performed any acts of heroism lately? Come to think of it, I really don't know. But the more that I think about it, at least I created this universally really cool Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that made us feel closer to something so special, which was Descendants of Zombies. And that's got to count for something, right? And who's to say that 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers couldn't get me into Descendants of Zombies and have the chance of becoming everybody's favorite action hero? Emphasis on the action hero, like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond for over 30 years. Hey, if that catchphrase got Buzz Lightyear over, that catchphrase of becoming everybody's favorite action hero could really put me over the top. But that goes a long way without saying 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers from all of you. But at least I have like 4,000 subscribers who have loved this YouTube channel endlessly with all their heart, and that means more to me than words could ever say. So probably I will have a chance of winning Rapunzel's heart or Snow White's heart or something like that. That would be really cool. Possibly have the chance to work alongside Clarke and Trell and go for rides in these huge teacups and be killed by plants and almost ate alive. And man, there's nothing I wouldn't do for the fans of Descendants of Zombies, man. Even if that meant being ate by a gigantic plant, which we're going to see for the first time in Wicked Wonderland just 8 nights from now. And I know everybody's like really excited about that. So hopefully I've kept this story alive for at least the last year, which is something I promised you guys I was going to do with all of my heart and had so much fun in the process because I believe in this story more than anybody. You know, from the first time I saw Descendants, for those of you who are new here, oh my God, did I ever think Descendants of Zombies was real? I looked at Descendants of Zombies for the first time ever and I was like, oh my God, this is so real. And I just wanted to be a part of it because I thought that everything I saw on Disney Channel was real. I kind of went through this phase and I thought it would be so cool to create a Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel at random, which had a lot to do with people showing up my door on Halloween dressed up as their favorite characters from Descendants, saying, hey, Jonathan Clarke, guess who I am? And after I guessed and I was wrong and then I was wrong again, they were like, man, Jonathan Clarke, I'm this character. Go watch Descendants of Zombies for the first time in your life and quit being a loser. So I took their advice, went down to my parents' basement, watched Descendants, and man, I loved it. And I've loved it ever since. So I thought the coolest thing after having been on YouTube for like 25 years would be to launch this Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel, just hoping I was going to bring people that much closer together. And emphatically, I did. It was the freakiest thing ever. I just uploaded one Descendants and Zombies video one night at random, fell asleep in my Mickey Mouse pajamas and slippers, woke up and was like, oh my God, 1,000 subscribers. Something like 500 to 1,000 or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, I got to keep uploading Descendants of Zombies videos. And here we are. I've really had the time of my life here because I've realized that so many people really appreciate these stories that I've told, that I've shared with you guys, that have become so relatable to far more people than probably ever given credit for. Because, man, I'm going to tell you guys something. I know this new cast may have received their fair share of criticism, but I was like, man, I was all in for them. I was like, these guys deserve more of a chance than ever before, even if Jonathan Clarke has to become everybody's favorite action hero, which I know may be a long way away from ever happening, but I mean, you can't blame a guy for trying and actually having a dream because I think everybody's life begins with a dream and pursuing that dream. And I think that when we see these dreams coming true for people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker all the time, I really hope that's not a zombie apocalypse happening outside my studio. The thing is, I've lived here for like a number of years. And ever since I've lived here and moved into this allegedly haunted house, every time I ever push record, I swear to God, there's a zombie apocalypse about to break out. So I do apologize for the noises you guys hear in the background, but I really can't do anything about that. But you guys can kind of help me out because if I get in as an executive writer and producer behind Disney's Descendants, then I can move out of this haunted house. I can move into a mansion that will be paid for me by Disney and all my things will be covered and then I'll be able to write for you guys and man, we'll have like the time of our lives because I will never quit on you. I know a lot of these writers and producers have quit on you because of the contractual obligations never really being met. But if they give me like a massive contract, like one of those ironclad contracts that are like 17 pages, oh man, for sure I'll sign it. And you know I'll be locked in for the rest of my life. because that was a promise that I made you guys, man. I was going to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies for what would become the rest of my life. Like that episode in Boy Meets World where Corey wanted to be with Topanga for the rest of his life. And he realized that he had to sacrifice like life and limb to do it because he had to impress her and all this stuff. Man, I would do everything for you guys. Even if it meant I had to, be stalked by these giant plants in Descendants or take rides in teacups on the water and do the whole spinny thing and get really sick. Man, I would do it all because shooting Descendants Wicked Wonderland looked like the most fun that anyone could ever had. And it's beyond me why people would choose to criticize this thing, man, because I may be the only guy on YouTube who looked at it for the first time and said, oh my God, this looks real. And a lot of people probably thought I was crazy for thinking it, but man, it looks so fun to shoot. I mean, they went to British Columbia. They had the time of their lives. I know the original cast may have never really enjoyed their time and experience in British Columbia because they were locked down with COVID and things like that. That must have been really freaky. But this new cast really appreciated their time being there because the water was really nice around this time of year. The scenery was really open and there was such a beautiful landscape. And I just remember them taking away so much appreciation for it. And man, I really would have had the time of my life. So like if you guys ever give me like 50,000 likes and 50,000 subscribers and get me in as the writer and producer behind Descendants of Zombies, oh man, I'm going to make this the most unforgettable experiences they will ever have and really enjoy. They will thoroughly enjoy working with me because I've always had this undescribable creative energy and creative incentive that I just really love to put to work. I think that if I could ever sit down and design a cartoon character or design a scene for Descendants of Zombies, I would go through thousands of pages, if never millions, trying to get the sketches right, trying to get the theme right, trying to get the atmosphere right. I'd love shooting scenes in the nighttime and all these action scenes, all the choreographing, man. I'd be down for that because I always remembered having so much appreciation for what they went through and all the pressure they had riding on their shoulders because they had certain expectations they had to live up to. And that had to be one of the worst feelings in the world. Feeling if you were letting people down, not only people you were working with, but people that were watching it at home. But the one thing they did was inspire so many wonderful people. And I think they tend to forget about how many people they inspired and how much of an inspiration they all were. Because what this cast did was something really cool. Kylie Control stole my heart. Ruby Rose Turner has always had a piece of my heart and a very special place in my heart. And the only thing I've ever wanted them to always know is that their contributions will never ever be forgotten, man, because they inspired me to want to be a Disney hero and an action hero more than ever before, more than I ever felt like I wanted to be. And I felt like I had so much incentive and creative energy more than I ever had in my entire life because of this franchise and really because of all of you. I know that may have involved me moving into a house that I think is haunted that people were trying to tell me and convince me was haunted for years, but man, I really love living here. And there's just something about the atmosphere and the level of appreciation that comes from every fan of Descendants of Zombies when you can give them something to really believe in and hold on to, which is something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to go down in history for having been everybody's favorite action hero because I thought it was the coolest thing in the world and have a chance of fighting a fire-breathing dragon and performing my own stunts because Jonathan Clarke would never need his own stunt double. I mean, I would never want to be like Dwayne Johnson, have to have all these stunt doubles and things like that. And I know there's somebody out there saying, hey, Jonathan Clarke, do you really think you're like The Rock and can do your own stunts? The more that I think about it, I've never really thought about it that way, but it would be kind of cool to at least try to do my own stunts. And I would just, I really would just, let me put it this way. I would just really love to bring a character to life and know that I was the one that brought that character to life. And there's just something about the feeling of, hey man, Jonathan Clarke was my favorite Descendants character. I think when I go to the Worlds Collide tour, I'm going to buy his shirt. And then if he's there, I'm going to get him to sign that shirt for me. There would always be something so cool about that, man, because I've seen your guys' appreciation and your level of appreciation being at an all-time high for people like Kylie Cantrell. I really hope there's no zombie apocalypse about to break out. I don't know what it is about this show, but I think everybody loves it. More people love it than probably ever given credit for. But getting back to what I was saying, not to mean go off on tangents or anything, because that's what you learn at school, never to go off on tangents when you're writing things for English class and stuff. But I always wanted this thing where someone will come up to me and say, hey, Jonathan Clarke, man, you're my favorite YouTuber. You're my favorite channel. I watch you every night. And can you please sign my Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour hoodie? Even though you're probably not on the graphic, I want you to sign my Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour hoodie because you made this night so special for me. And I'd be like, man, what are you talking about? I was just backstage with a headset on doing the sound checks and things. Yeah, but Jonathan Clarke, you made the show so special for us. Without you, there would be no show. That there would be something so special about that to take away from it, man. And just knowing that I had the chance to share in the night with all of you, that would be such an honor, man. I would have the bus stop everywhere. Even when the bus was ready to leave, I'd have them stay longer so I'd have the chance to meet more people. And every single one of you would have the chance to meet your favorites, man. And more of an interactive experience, because I think more of an interactive experience and where you guys see stuff blowing up, and what I'm talking about is more pyro and more special effects, man. Who wouldn't want to see something blow up on stage? So I really think that you guys have deserved more of an interactive experience where you're more up close and personal with your favorite stars, which is why I kind of really appreciated the Worlds Collide Tour and how they brought it to life. Because the one thing I always remembered about the special was how people just felt so connected to all of you. While you felt connected to all of your favorites, people like Malia Baker were saying there was something about the level of appreciation that often stemmed from all of you. You guys made those nights so special for them. They made those nights so special for you. And that's what made it such an honor for me to be here for over 27 years, recording the content that I did. And I know I'm really silly and I probably made you guys almost, have milk come through your noses and things like that. But again, if I even succeeded once in putting a smile on your face, man, that's all I ever wanted to do. I just wanted to be a relatable guy who would always have something nice to say every single time he ever uploaded a video. And just the feeling I got from that was truly undescribable. Just to be here, to sit in this chair, to talk about all my passions that may have involved video games and all things Disney, from the original animated classics to what's now on Disney, because what's now on Disney is really special and something to really take into consideration. Because as often and as much as we choose to criticize what's happening now for Disney, there's always something so special to take away from the stories of Rapunzel. There's always something so special to take away from all these live action remakes. Rapunzel was always one of my favorite Disney princesses, for those of you who don't know this, because of just her appreciation of life. Maybe not anything else, but just her appreciation of life and how curious she was to live that life, and how Ariel kind of, had that same incentive of just wanting to be a part of the human world. They had to be two of my favorite Disney princesses of all time, just because of their infatuation with really life and their level of appreciation they not only had for life, but for every friend they had. Like how Ariel's one and only friend was Flounder, because Flounder always had this way of understanding Ariel better than anybody ever could. Even her own dad didn't understand her as much as what Flounder did. And that's really what allowed them to bond. Or how Rapunzel and Eugene just kind of fit perfectly together, because even with how crazy they were about each other, ultimately they understood each other better than anybody ever could. And I think that's what led us to become fans of Rapunzel, along with how crazy she was, man. Because I always thought that Rapunzel just had this overwhelming appreciation for life, and then Belle had this unique intelligence about her and such a presence from the Beauty and the Beast that I couldn't just help but fall in love with. And I've just really loved being here to talk about Disney princesses and encouraging their stories, because I know how people have been made to feel about Disney princesses. And I know that the chance of you becoming a Disney princess yourself may have been taken away from you when you were probably really young. And I kind of wanted to give that back to you. I kind of wanted to give those feelings back to you. Now, while I may have never known how I was ever going to give those feelings back to you, I think that when you can encourage, let me put it to you this way. When you know you can encourage somebody that, hey, no matter what their age is, no matter who they are, that they have a chance of becoming their favorite Disney princess and being just like them, because they use those princesses as role models and, fashion figures, what have you, that really means something to me. So I think that if somebody out there wants to be a princess, then they should be able to fulfill their dreams. That's all I've ever believed in, and that's all I've ever wanted to believe in, man. Because when I tell you what I saw on Disney Channel I thought was real, I'm not exaggerating on that. I really do believe that everything that I saw on Disney Channel at least had a chance of becoming real. And this has to be one of the most realistic things that we ever have the chance to be a part of. I know we may be about 8 nights away from it, and it's bound to receive its fair share of criticism, but that will come from people who don't really have that same appreciation that you do or I have, because as you've noticed, I've uploaded over 1,300 videos, and that's more than anybody, revolving their content around Descendants of Zombies. Because most of these channels promise you a video for over a year, or a video once every 6 months that never seems to surface, but at least this YouTube channel has something new and innovative every single time that you check. Every single time you come home from school, every time you wake up in the morning, there's always something new here and relatable for you to watch. And that is the coolest feeling in the world, knowing that this channel has demonstrated so much consistency, and I've invested so much time, money, and energy behind what I've created. Because when I told you guys, let me let you in a little secret. When I told you guys I wanted to be an action hero, I really meant it, and I meant it with all of my heart. When I told you guys that I believe Kylie Control deserved better, I really meant it. When I told you that I believe Ruby Rose Turner's story was far from having been told and completed, I meant it with all of my heart, man, because I always believed they deserve better. You deserve better as a fandom, and I was only ever hoping that I was going to be the guy to give it to you. Because when you went to the Worlds Collide Tour, that was meant to be the night of your lives. And it should have been the night of your lives. And what did you come home to? You came home to a bunch of critics reviewing the Worlds Collide Tour, tearing it down from the ground up. What they built up, people were trying to tear down. So I took to my YouTube channel and I just said really nice things about the Worlds Collide Tour, and thousands of people heard that message. And thousands of people came together and emphatically chose this YouTube channel hosted by a crazy guy who believed everything that he saw on Disney Channel was real and turned it into their favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And I just want to put it out there too. If ever I get the chance to do my own Disney Channel signature and do the whole, hey everyone, my name's Jonathan Clarke and you're watching Disney Channel, woohoo kind of thing, man, sign me up. I'll do 100 takes. We'll do it. Jonathan Clarke will get his own Disney Channel signature, possibly his own website to sell his own merch off of, and we'll go from there. Because I really do believe that I have a chance of becoming everybody's favorite Disney Channel character or hero, because I've always held on to that belief. And there's always something special to take away from what you believe in. Hasn't there always been something special to take away from that? So I think if you ever have an opportunity to let me put it to you this way. If you ever have an opportunity to put a smile on someone's face so emphatically, you should seize that opportunity. No matter if you're friends with somebody who's really having a bad day, no matter if you just say something kind to people, because your simplest acts of kindness really go the distance and prove dividends. There's always something special that you can contribute. And when you think to yourself, I wonder what my contributions were for today. Well, today we still have a couple of hours left. So you can close out this YouTube channel. You can get off your tablet. You can call a friend you probably haven't talked to for probably 6 months, which I know is a really long time. Let them know how much you love them, how much you're thinking about them. And your acts of kindness really go a long way. Probably talk to somebody you've never talked to before in your life. That could be the guy that sits behind you in a class every day at school. You probably want to have him carry your books for you. Try it. It works every single time. So, the more opportunities that you have to make friends with people and create relatable content, you should. I know for a fact that many of you have created some of the most relatable and some of the most gorgeous content that I've ever watched. It's been a privilege to watch your content. I hope it's been just as much of a privilege for you to watch my content, because I really strived on creating relatable content for so many wonderful people, sometimes really funny content, because I've had many jobs. I said that I worked at Five Nights at Freddy's part-time. I was a part-time vampire slayer, which has a lot of challenges along the way to contend with, and full-time content creator. So I'm juggling a lot of responsibilities, but it's it's been the most fun that I've ever had in my life. You haven't lived until you work the graveyard shift, man. And you never know what's coming after you, and you got to get them before they get you. And man, it's really it's really fun. And I hope that everything that I've said here tonight, somewhere somehow puts a smile on all of your faces. Because man, when I watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer back in 1997, and I saw the pilot episode, man, I thought Buffy was doomed. Especially when the vampire had her cornered and was going to jump down inside of that coffin. Then from out of nowhere came up, to be continued. You had better believe Jonathan Clarke was tuning in next week, because again, I went through this phase where everything I saw on TV was real. And when it came to the X-Files, well, that was a different story altogether, because when you were made a believer in being abducted by aliens, man, then your life meant a whole something different. But that's a different story for a different time, which is why I don't know why Disney never called me to be a part of Zombies 3, man. Jonathan Clarke could have been the voice of this mothership on the way to Earth to kill us all. Or once again, could have been everybody's favorite action hero and probably have the chance of winning Addison's heart. I really don't know, because I always believe Meg Donnelly deserved more appreciation, more of a chance to outshine all of her competition and every one of her critics, because I know she had her fair share of criticism along the way, and there was something to really appreciate about how vocal she was about that, and how appreciative she was of being open-minded with all of you with really zero expectations. I was so proud to call myself a fan of her. I've always been a fan of her. Shout out to you, Meg. Keep up the great work. Shout out to you, Ruby. Keep up the great work. I love you so much, man. And thank you guys so much for always being here and representing yourselves with the only people you've ever really known how to be. Listening to this crazy guy, putting up with him for as long as you have. Thank you for being yourselves. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for always believing in yourself and never quitting on yourself most of all, because that's really important. Never ever quit on yourself. Never give up on who or what you believe in, who you trust in, and what you trust in most of all, because simply your heart is your best friend. And that's all I ever wanted you to take away from these videos. So hopefully I've emotionally touched somebody's heart tonight. That's the only hope I've ever seemed to have. And as we look at the same moon and the same stars tonight, just know we're looking at the same one, and the moon is only as big as your thumb. So what that means is if you actually put your thumb up to the moon, your thumb will fit conveniently over the moon. You won't be able to see it. But that means, what that emphatically means is no matter how big that moon seems to be or how big this universe seems to be on times, with how much you love Descendants of Zombies, and never ever forget this, with how much you love these franchises and their stories and the characters that have proudly represented these stories for so many years, for such a long time, there is somebody always out there who loves it just as much, and you never have to feel alone. Having said that, thank you so much for always having chosen this YouTube channel. Man, there has always been something about how I could tell this story, man, so emotionally. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. So emotionally connected. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, man. I'm so excited about Wicked Wonderland to review it. I will see it on July 17th because I have Disney Plus and there's something going on with my cable blocks. I think it blew up or something. So I'll be watching it on demand on Disney Plus on July 17th. So you guys can expect reviews to start dropping on July 17th. And I have no idea what's happening with my cable box, but I will be watching it on Disney Plus. I've renewed my subscription because Disney Plus has got a lot happening for it. And given how many people are uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies, I may have a lot to contend with and a lot of challenges presenting itself along the way. But it's nothing we can't outshine together because we've come together and really created something so special. Having said that, thank you so much from my heart to yours for having allowed me the honor of representing you as a part of your worlds and your stories for however long it's been. I've lost track. I think it's been somewhere around 10 years. Thank you so much for always having chosen this is your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. Try saying that 3 times fast. I promise you, you will fool up on your third or fourth time. But again, thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. I got to bolt. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for always having the time to have appreciated and always have watched these videos.